Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I want to start out by saying that I appreciate all the Spartans who have reached out to me over the last couple of days for their support. I'm here today to talk about our team and about our game against a very good opponent in Washington. Our focus and energy has been really good after these first two days of practice. And our job as a staff is to focus on our guys and get them ready and prepared for the game on Saturday. We had a team meeting on Sunday where I met with them, and I told those guys that, hey man, we got to all come together in this time of adversity, and we have to be unified through the adversity so that we can, and then we need all our leaders to lead. Not only the coaches, but the leaders to lead. And I told them they lead by love, encouragement, accountability, and discipline. So we have to lead. We all have to lead. This is a determined group. They worked very hard this off season. They've worked very hard so far this season. Hey, we're 2-0, right? And they're still motivated and excited to move forward in this season. We have a mission to complete, so we're mission focused. With all that, I'll open it up to questions. Thank you.
Coach, you talk about leadership. Can you just talk about Coach Dantonio, what that means about him coming back, and what are his duties as far as the week and then game day, if you could let us know about that?
So Coach D, that's my guy, man. First coach, he hired me into my first coaching job was with Coach Dantonio at the University of Cincinnati back in 2004, and we were together 14 straight years. Did 3 years there at the University of Cincinnati, and another 11 here at Michigan State. And Coach D brings the calming presence, the wisdom, the knowledge of being a head coach, a very successful head coach at that. And so he's bringing all of that as our associate head coach. And so any and all ways he's willing to help with us, and that's what he's going to do. So he's helping in all aspects of the operation.
Harlon, you've been doing this for a couple decades, and this is obviously your first chance to be a head coach. Obviously the circumstances are not ideal. How do you, I guess, what's this like for you just personally and professionally to now be in that top spot and, obviously with an undefeated team and facing, a very good opponent this weekend in your debut?
I'm being totally honest here. I wanted to be the head coach at Michigan State, but not in this way, obviously. And so that's always been a goal of mine. I'm a Spartan through and through. Anybody that knows me knows that I am a Spartan. They will tell you that dude is green all day. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to be the head coach here. Again, not like in the circumstances. I think the players, I connect with those guys in a good way. And it's how I've been feeling personally is like this because of how it happened. You know what I mean? So, but I am really very, very, very excited about this coming week and this opportunity to show what I got.
Have you talked to Mel since?
I have not spoken with him.
Hello, Harlon. Lindsay Huddleston with Sports Psychology Solutions, SPS. I only say the name just to give you context for the question. From a mental health standpoint, you talked about the some 20 years with Coach D, and 20 years ago we didn't have social media that makes stories just take off like wildfire. So as it relates to your players, I know you got a great mental health staff, but how do you really connect with them to keep them mentally locked in, less distracted with all the things that's going on, and just using your past experience 20 years ago to now to really help them?
That's a great question. Currently, I'm meeting with all the players, all of them. Yesterday, I got 27 in. I'm going for another 20 plus today because I told them on Sunday I want to meet with everybody in the room. I started with the players individually. I'll go into the coaches, the support staff, training, everybody. Just so everybody's on the same page. Again, I keep talking about unity. And that's part of, I think, helping people mentally when we're all together and they know they have somebody to lean on and trust in. And so, when I was talking to them, and this was actually on yesterday, I should say, at the team meeting, I gave my story. I said, I'm gonna tell y'all my story really fast, so when y'all come in my office, you don't have to hear my story again. I wanna hear about you guys. And so we go 5 to 10 minutes, just to get everybody. Of course, I know the defensive backs, obviously, and a lot of guys on the defense. I know the offensive guys as well, but not intimately like I would want to. So that's why we're meeting with everybody, let them know that I'm open and honest. I'm there for them anytime they want to come, along with the rest of the staff. And we have things set in place that where if they need to go get some extra help or what have you, it is set in place here at Michigan State.
Harlon, I know you and Alan go way back to your playing days. I'm wondering how the conversation went on Sunday when he approached you about being the acting coach. And had you previously had any conversations with him about this? He had mentioned about formulating contingency plans all the time. Had you ever had any inkling that should something arise that you would be in this spot?
I haven't. It's me covering up for Alan again, like I did as a player when we were players. I'm getting him now. He says that all the time. But no, I hadn't had really any other conversations with him. I have talked to Alan, I mean, this has been some years ago now, we're talking about not recently, about, hey man, I want to be a head coach, you know, and he knew that. He knew that was some part of my plan to become a head coach someday. And this was back in, actually, I tell you, when it happened, I told him, I came back for Coach Dantonio's daughter's wedding when I was at Florida State one summer, I think it was the summer of 2018. And I told him that at the reception. So I remember that, yes.
Coach, Alan is not here, kind of symbolically backing you up. Did you know he wasn't going to be here, and does that bother you at all?
No, that don't bother me at all, no. But Al and I go way, I mean, we know what it is, you know what I mean? There is nothing about that. Yeah, we're good.
And respecting your relationship with the players, can you kind of give us an idea of their reaction when you met with them on Sunday?
It was good. It was actually really good. And then talking with them, like I said, talked with 27 of them yesterday, and it was almost like they had a scripted answer, which fired me up, because when we were out at practice, I'm like, these guys, they're moving on. They're young people. They're resilient. They're going, and so they were confirming that, what I saw at practice. You know, Coach, we know what it is. Hey, we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep fighting. We're mission focused. Let's go. No, they pushing forward. Yes, yep. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Harlan, I got a couple things for you. I'm just wondering about the idea of, at this point in the season, how much can you change as head coach now? How much do you want to change? How much is continuity important for these guys? Where do you sort of sit on that idea of change versus keeping things the same right now?
Well, a lot of stuff is going to stay the same. Tough, disciplined, selfless, do your job. Those are things that are staples of Michigan State football. Since I've been a Spartan since 1985. Tough, disciplined, selfless, physicality. We're going to still talk about those same things. Playing smart, fast, and physical, that's who we are. And so from that standpoint, we're going to be pretty much, that's the foundation of it, and we're going to continue to build on top of that foundation.
And then I'm also just curious about your position and your meetings and individual drills and practices. Is that still you, or have you handed that off to somebody else while you're acting head coach now?
I love coaching DBs. I do. And so the individual part, I'll still go over there and throw balls and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to, it's been 2 practices, so I'm trying to wean away a little bit, but it's kind of tough. And Coach Saban never has left the DBs. Never has. He's always coached DBs. He's going to be with the corners and say he's going to be over there some kind of way. And so that lets me know that at least I can be in some capacity, help with the defensive backs. Very similar to Coach Dantonio when we were here together.
When you're not, who's that guy?
Coach Jim Salgado and Coach Ross Ailes. Ailes has the nickels, and Jim have the nickels, the corners and the safeties if it came down to it. But absolutely, Coach Salgado.
Hey, Harlan, congrats.
Thank you.
Your coaching resume is solid. I'm not sure why you haven't had an opportunity to be a head coach. Perhaps you've wondered that too. But is this a chance for you personally to meet the challenge and prove that you can lead a program and maybe get an opportunity to be a permanent head coach, perhaps even here if circumstances work out?
The way it's set up is set up that way, Fred. I'm just being honest. That's just being honest about it. And I'm looking forward to this great opportunity that I'm having. And let's go. It's a great opportunity. I have desired to be a head coach since I became a college coach, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Your school is bleeding right now. Is this also an opportunity to kind of, you can't fix it alone, but to help bridge it and bring this thing back to where you think it should be?
Absolutely. Our Spartans, and they all, when I say this, all Spartans know what I'm talking about. And we always talk about the chip on the shoulder, hard working, tough. Let's go back to Coach Perlis, is hearing him saying things like that over and over. Tough, we're going to make them limp out the stadium. We're going to be the hardest hitting team. So we're tough. We're Spartans. We're resilient. And for another term that I tell people sometimes, I'm a dog. I'm a dog. Be a dog. We're going to push through this as Spartans do, as Spartans will, right? Spartans will. And we will push through this. We'll become better for it, like everybody does when they come out of adverse situations, that keep fighting and keep pushing through. So I expect that to happen.
Quick clarifying question. You said you haven't spoken to Mel since, when's the last time you talked to Mel?
Let's see, when Saturday was the game, right? So the last time I actually spoke with him.
Okay, and
Yeah.
text?
He did text me. We text, and he was all in support of the team, of the coaches and the team.
And then my question's for the players. Can you reflect and have some empathy for what they have gone through in the last calendar year, what happened in the Michigan Stadium tunnel, mass shooting, and now this? I can't imagine there's a collection of college football players ever who have dealt with what these players have to deal with and have had to.
No question, and no disrespect, but Virginia was a tough situation also. Again, young people are very resilient. They just know how to push through. I mean, it's the life that they're living in. If you're on social media or whatever, it's something going wild and crazy all over the world that they're seeing. It's almost like they're immune to it sometimes. But you can't let them just walk away and act like nothing happened. You have to talk to them and dig it out of them, and they'll talk to you. They'll talk with you. But they are very resilient, and I pray for them all the time.
You played under and coached with, but you played under some of the best coaches ever. What do you take from them that helps guide you on this?
Attention to detail and discipline.
And from whom?
Nick and Belichick. Nick and Belichick, and then Coach D, all along the line. So those guys were on attention to detail and discipline big time. And it's kind of how my father never was my coach, but was very, very disciplined. Very disciplined. And so when I got with those guys, it was like, this is what I'm used to. You know what I mean? This is what I'm used to, very detailed in the things, how he would teach me and coach me up, my father. And so that's the same way those guys were and are. So I've been blessed to be able to be under such great coaching. I mean, those two guys considered the best to do it in their college and pro, arguably.
Hey, Harlan, over here to your right.
Got you.
I'm just wondering, in the last few days, with your conversations with Mark, aside from the football talk, what kind of advice or thoughts has he shared with you about this opportunity? Because it's certainly one that you guys have shared, I think.
Absolutely. He's told me some things that you're going to go back to doing certain things that we did in the past. I told him, I said, I'm thinking about doing this. And then he said, how about this? And I can't share all this stuff. I don't want to share all of it. But I'm glad he's here. Love me some Coach D, man. I love Coach D. Again, I go back to 2004 when he first hired me. That was very equal when he hired me in 2004, January of 2004, to me getting drafted in April of 1990. It was close to that. I was that excited for him to give me an opportunity to coach down at the University of Cincinnati. So that's my guy, and we share a lot of things that, I don't like sharing with everybody, but we talk a lot and we share a lot.
And then just to follow up, have you thought about what that's going to feel like for you, walking running whatever out onto the field on Saturday?
I haven't. You just put it in my mind, though. But I hadn't really thought about it like that. No, I haven't. But when it comes, I can imagine it's gonna be great. It's gonna probably be a little emotional, but I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool. I promise. Yeah.
H, we talk about conversations with Mel and Mark. Have you heard anything from Nick?
I have not heard it, but I'm not surprised though. That's Nick, man. That's Nick. But Nick is great. I mean, and I tell people this all the time, my foundation of coaching defensive backs is Nick Saban all day. Hence, Mark Dantonio hiring me, Mel Tucker hiring me. We all speak Sabanese. So that's what it is. So that's how I got hired. But he hasn't. But I know he's happy for me and would support me in any way if I called him. Yeah, Nick, you just got to know Nick. I know Nick since 1985. He's 30-something years old. Think about that.
We talk about coaches being busy. You're about as busy as you can get with this transition, and the team that's coming in here Saturday isn't bad. Have you spent much time, you and the staff, talking with players who are pledged, recruits, how they've reacted to this news?
Yes, absolutely. I've talked to all the defensive back commits for sure, and all the coaches have handled their positions. I'm going to then go behind the coaches at the other positions between today and tomorrow and talk to those other committed guys.
Any reactions or questions that have come up a lot?
They were really good. I can't say names, obviously, you know that, but they were really, Coach, we locked in with you. We're locked in. We're with you. And they had some questions and concerns early on. Hey, you know, what's going to happen, and this, that, and the other. And but they're all in right now. They're all in.
Harlan, over here. Yes. You mentioned sitting down with as many of the actual players as you could individually, and I'm wondering what sort of questions and concerns, sort of what has been something that's come up repeatedly, or something that was an interesting question or concern that came up during those conversations.
Got you. What they all kept saying was, I said, how you feel? My first question to them when they sit down, what's your feeling about the team? How's the team? We're good, Coach. We're good. We had a team-only meeting on Sunday prior to Alan Howler coming in to talk to us. And then you had the meeting behind that on Zoom. We're good. They all said, we talked about, hey, we're on a mission. We're on a mission, and we're going to complete this mission. And so let's do what we got to do. Let's lead. Let's support the coaches and go from here. And they all said that. So that was very, very encouraging for me, because that's a sign of the unity that I was talking about. And so, but anything other than that interesting, no. I think if I had to say this, a couple of them might say when it first happened, I was a little like, what's going on? You know, but once we had that player-only meeting, it seemed like they all got back on solid ground. They were a little shaky at first, and when they had the players-only meeting, they got back on solid ground.